Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Diriye Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 51, The Deliverance of Muchkunda. Text number 27 onwards. So yesterday we studied how Krishna let Kalyavan follow him, try to catch him, but he could not catch him. And then running Krishna into the cave where King Muchkunda was sleeping. And Kalyavan came and he thought Krishna was sleeping, but Krishna had put his upper chadar on Muchkunda. And Kalyavan kicked him, telling him, "Oh, why you're pretending to sleep here? Let's fight." And Muchkunda got up and he looked at Kalyavan, who disturbed his sleep, and Kalyavan was burnt to ashes. Because this was a benediction given to Muchkunda by the demigods, because he helped them for so many years in fighting against the demons. So then Muchkunda saw Krishna standing. Krishna was in his four-handed feature, and Muchkunda thought he must be the Supreme Lord himself, not be anybody else. So Muchkunda started praying to the Lord. Shri Muchkunda Vacha Ko Bhavani Samprapto Vipine Giri Gavare Padbhyam Padma Palashabhyam Vicharasyuru Kantake. Shri Muchkunda said, "Who are you who have come to this mountain cave in the forest, having walked on the thorny ground with feet as soft as lotus petals? Kvim Sittejas Vinantejo Bhagwan Va Vibhavasu Surya Soma Mahendro Va Lokapalo Paropi Va." Perhaps you are the potency of all potent beings, or maybe you're the powerful god of fire, or the sun god, the moon god, the king of heaven, or the ruling demigod of some other planet. Manye tvam deva devanam trayanam purusha rishabam yadva dase guha guhadvantam pradipa prabhaya yatha. I think you are the supreme personality among the three chief gods, since you drive away the darkness of this cave as a lamp dispels darkness with its light. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur points out that with this effulgence, Lord Krishna dispelled not only the darkness of the mountain cave, but also the darkness in Muchkunda's heart. In Sanskrit, the heart is sometimes metaphorically referred to as a guha or cavern, a deep and secret place. So Krishna drive away everybody's darkness. That's why Prabhupada said, "Jahan Krishna tahan nahi maya ka adhikar." So no more darkness wherever Krishna is. Shushrushtam avya likam asmakam narapungava swajanma karma gotram va katyatam yadi rochate. O best among men, if you like, please truly describe your birth, activities, and lineage to us who are eager to hear. When the Supreme Lord descends to this world, he certainly becomes Narapungava, the most eminent member of human society. Of course, the Lord is not actually a human being, and Muchkunda's question will lead to a clarification of this point. Thus, the term Shushrushata, to us who are sincerely eager to hear, indicates that Muchkunda is inquiring in a noble way for his own and others' benefit. So he doesn't make a mistake when he's glorifying or when he's addressing Krishna. Vayam tu Purusha Vyagra Ekshvaka Kshatra Bandhava Muchkunda iti Prokto Yovanashvatmaja Prabhu. As for ourselves, a tiger among men, we belong to a family of fallen Kshatriyas, descendants of King Ikshvaku. My name is Muchkunda, my lord, and I am the son of Yovanashva. It is common in Vedic culture that a Kshatriya will humbly introduce himself as Kshatriya Bandhu, a mere relative in a Kshatriya family, or in other words, a fallen Kshatriya. In ancient Vedic culture, to claim a proper status on the basis of one's family relationships was itself indicative of a fallen position. Kshatriyas and Brahmins should be given status according to their merit by the qualities of work and character. When the caste system in India became degraded, people proudly claimed to be relatives of Kshatriyas or Brahmins. Though in the past such a claim unaccompanied by tangible qualifications indicated a fallen position. Although he is a great king, he held the demigods in the fight against the demons, and he is coming in the dynasty of King Ikshvaku, in which Lord Ram appeared. But still he is referring to himself as, oh, I'm a fallen Kshatriya. Chir praja garasharanto nidriya pahendriya shaye asmin vijane kamam kena utthapiyato adhuna. I am fatigued after remaining awake for a long time, and my senses were overwhelmed by sleep. Thus I slept comfortably here in this solitary place until just now someone woke me up. Soapi bhasmi krito nunam matmiyenaiva papmana nantaram bhagwan shriman lakshito amitra shasana. The man who woke me was burned to ashes by the reactions of his sins. Just then I saw you, possessing a glorious appearance and the power to chastise your enemies. Kalyavan had declared himself the enemy of Shri Krishna and the Yadu dynasty. Through Muchkunda, Krishna destroyed the opposition of that foolish barbarian. Tejasate avishriyana uri drishtum na shaknuma atojasa mahabhaga mananiyo asidehinam. Your unbearably brilliant effulgence overwhelms our strength, and thus we cannot fix our gaze upon you. O exalted one, you are to be honored by all embodied beings. Evam sambhashito rakya bhagwana bhuta bhavana pratyah prahasan vanya meghnad gabhireya. Shukdev Goswami continued, thus addressed by the king, the supreme personality of Godhead, origin of all creation, smiled and then replied to him in a voice as deep as the rumbling of clouds. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Janma Karma Bhidhanani Santi Mayanga Sahasrasha Na Shakyante Anusankyatum Anantatvan Mayapihi. The Supreme Lord said, my dear friend, I have taken thousands of births, lived thousands of lives, and accepted thousands of names. In fact, my births, activities, and names are limitless. Thus, even I cannot count them. So when King Muchkunda asked him, who are you? What's your lineage? What are your activities? Krishna said, even I cannot count them. Kvachit rajansi vimame parthivanyaru janma bhi guna karma bidhanani name janmani karhichit. After many lifetimes, someone might count the dust particles on the earth, but no one can ever finish counting my qualities, activities, names, and births. That is Krishna. Kalatrayopapannani janma karmani me nripa anukramanto nevantam gachanti paramarishaya. O King, the great sages enumerate my births and activities which take place throughout the three phases of time, but never do they reach the end of them. Tathapi adya nanyanga shraneshwar gadato mama vigyapito virinchena puraha dharmaguptahe bhumer bharayana manana asuranam kshayaya cha avatirano yatule grihi anak dundubhe vadanti vasudeveti vasudev sutam himam. Nonetheless, O friend, I'll tell you about my current birth and activities. Kindly hear. Some time ago, Lord Brahma requested me to protect religious principles and destroy the demons who were burdening the earth. Thus, I descended in the Yadu dynasty, in the home of Anak Dundudi. Indeed, because I am the son of Vasudeva, people call me Vasudeva. Kala nemir hatah kansa pralambadhyascha sadadvisha ayam cha yavano dagdo rajan se tigna chakshusha. I have killed Kalnemi, reborn as Kansa, as well as Pralamba and other enemies of the pious. And now, King, this barbarian has been burned to ashes by your piercing glance. But Krishna arranged for that Kalyavan to be killed by Muchkunda. Soham tavanu grihartham guham etam upagataha tarthitaha prachuram purvam tvaya aham bhaktavatsalaha. Since in the past you repeatedly prayed to me, I have personally come to this cave to show you mercy, for I am affectionately inclined to my devotees. It is apparent from this verse that Muchkunda was a devotee of the Supreme Lord. He had prayed for the Lord's association, and so now Krishna granted his fervent request. Varana Vrinishva Rajarshe Sarvana Kaman Dadamite Nam Prasanno Jana Kashin Na Bhuyor Arhati Shochitum. Now choose some benedictions from me, says saintly king. I'll fulfill all your desires. One who has satisfied me need never again lament. This is Krishna's promise. And test also. He is testing Muchkunda. He is saying, choose some benedictions from me. I'll fulfill all your desires. Why? Because King Muchkunda, he is a devotee and he asked for Krishna's darshan, and he served the demigods. Demigods are devotees of Krishna. He served them in the fight against demons. So Krishna is very happy with him. The Acharyas explain that we lament when we feel incomplete, when we have lost something, or when we fail to achieve something desirable. One who has satisfied Krishna and thus attained the Lord's mercy will never be troubled in these ways. Lord Krishna is a reservoir of all pleasure, and he enjoys sharing his spiritual bliss with all living beings. We need only cooperate with the Lord or serve the Lord, and he takes care of everything. Shri Shukuvacha iti uktastam pranamyaha muchkundu mudanvitah gyatva narayanam devam gargavakyam anusmaran. Shukdev Goswami said, Muchkunda bowed down to the Lord when he heard this. Remembering the words of the sage Garga, he joyfully recognized Krishna to be the Supreme Lord Narayan. The king then addressed him as follows. Although the Lord here appears as four-handed Narayan, we may say that Muchkunda was addressing Shri Krishna. All of this is taking place within the context of Krishna Leela, pastimes of Lord Krishna. It is well known to Vaishnavas that the four-handed forms of Vishnu Narayana are expansions of Shri Krishna. Thus, within the pastimes of Lord Krishna, there may also appear Vishnu Leela, the activities of Vishnu. But those are activities of Krishna himself. Srila Sridhar Swami informs us that Muchkunda was aware of the prediction of the ancient sage Garga that in the 28th millennium, the Supreme Lord would descend. According to Vishwanath, Acharya Vishwanath, Garga Muni further informed Muchkunda that he would personally see the Lord. Now it was all happening. Shri Muchkunda Vacha Vimohito ayam jan ish mayaya tadiyaya tvam na bhajati anarthadrik sukhaya dukh prabhaveshu sajjate griheshu yoshit purushascha vanchita. Shri Muchkunda said, O Lord, the people of this world, both men and women, are bewildered by your illusory energy. Unaware of their real benefit, they do not worship you, but instead seek happiness by entangling themselves in family affairs, which are actually sources of misery. See, this is how the whole world is going on. So Muchkunda immediately makes it clear that he's not going to ask the Lord for material blessings. He has advanced spiritually far beyond those who try to exploit religion for any kinds of material benefits. Artha means value, and the negation of this word anartha means that which is valueless or useless. Thus, the term anarthadrik indicates those whose vision is focused on valueless things, who have not understood what actual artha or value is. All that glitters is not gold, and Muchkunda here emphatically states that we should not ruin our spiritual chances by entangling ourselves in the fool's gold of bodily relationships. We are meant to love the Lord. So we are meant to love the Lord, we are meant to serve the Lord, but we get so involved, so entangled in bodily relationships and material prosperity, material advancement, that we forget our service, our real position of serving Krishna. Labdhava jano durlabha matra manusham kathanchid vyangmayatno anagha padarvindam na bhajati asanmatir grihand kupe patito yatha pashu. That person has an impure mind who, despite having somehow or other automatically obtained the rare and highly evolved human form of life, and who does not worship the lotus feet. Like an animal that has fallen into the blind well, such a person has fallen into the darkness of a material home. So our real home is in the kingdom of God. Despite our tenacious determination to remain in our material home, death will rudely eject us from the theater of material affairs. To stay at home is not bad, nor is it bad to devote ourselves to our loved ones. But we must understand that our real home is eternal in the spiritual kingdom. The word ayatnata indicates that human life has been automatically awarded to us. We have not constructed our human bodies, and therefore we should not foolishly claim, this body is mine. The human form is a gift of God and should be used to achieve the perfection of God consciousness. One who does not understand this is asamati, possessed of dull, mundane understanding. And 99.9% of people are like that. They're just passing their time, passing their lives in so many different activities. And they have no time for Krishna consciousness. Mamesh kalo ajit nishfalo gato rajashriyo na dhamma dasya bhupate martyatma buddhe sutitar kosha bhushva asad jamanasya duranta chintaya. I have wasted all this time, O unconquerable one, becoming more and more intoxicated by my domain and opulence as an earthly king, misidentifying the mortal body as a self, becoming attached to children, wives, treasury, and land. I suffered endless anxiety. And actually, there is endless anxiety in the material world. Everybody is working is stressed, in tension, anxious, frustration, depression, goes through so many things. Why? Just to make few extra bucks so I think I can live comfortably, that's all. But I'm not living comfortably right now. I'm going through so much of suffering. But that people don't understand. They say, oh, this is part of life. This is how life is. So the anxiety right now, and people take up to drinking and smoking, and then they need some kind of recreation, so they go to bars and clubs and this and that. In the end, what did we gain? Nothing. Actually, nothing. But this has become a standard because the standard is set by demons themselves. This standard is not set by the Lord or the devotees. The standard is until you go out and eat in the restaurants and go to the bar and clubs and drink and this and that, then you're not cool. You're not a cool person. Nobody would like to be friendly with you. Or the so-called cool people, they cannot be friendly with you. They don't want to be seen with you because you're boring. But this leads to endless anxiety. Even King Muchkunda is saying that. Having in the previous verse condemned those who misuse the valuable human form of life for mundane purposes, Muchkunda now admits that he himself falls into this category. He intelligently wants to take advantage of the Lord's association and become a pure devotee once and for all. Kalevarayasmin ghat kudaya sannibhe niruda mano naradevityaham vrito yadrathe bhasha padatyanikapaya gam paryatan ganayan sudurmadaha. With deep arrogance, I took myself to be the body, which is a material object like a pot or a wall. Thinking myself a god among men, I traveled the earth surrounded by my charioteers, elephants, cavalry, foot soldiers, and generals, disregarding you in my deluding pride. But King Muchkunda is a devotee also, but he's saying I've wasted my time. Paramattam chair atikritya chintaya pravriddha lobham vishayeshu lalas tvam pramatta sahasa vipadyase khulle lihano ahire vivak umantaka. A man obsessed with thoughts of what he thinks needs to be done, intensely greedy and delighting in sense enjoyment, is suddenly confronted by you who are ever alert, like a hungry snake licking its fangs. Before a mouse, you appear before him as death. So this is what happens at the time of death. When Krishna comes, all our possessions and powers and whatever we have gathered throughout this life, just will be gone. It will be left here only. We may note here the contrast between the words pramattam and apramatta. Those who are trying to exploit the material world are pramatta, deluded, bewildered, maddened by desire. But the Lord is apramatta, alert, sober, and unbewildered. In our madness, we may deny God or his laws, but the Lord is sober and will not fail to reward or punish us according to the quality of our activities. Pura rather him parishkrita sharan matanga jarava naradeva sangita saeva kalendratyayenate kalevaro vittikrimi bhasma sangita. The body that at first rides high on fierce elephants or chariots adorned with gold and is known by the name King is later by your invincible power of time called feces, worms, or ashes. In the United States and other materially developed countries, dead bodies are cosmetically disposed of in a tidy ceremonial way. But in many parts of the world, old, sickly, and injured people die in lonely or neglected places where dogs and jackals consume their bodies and transform them into stool. And if one is so blessed to be buried in a coffin, one's body may very well be consumed away by worms and other minuscule creatures. Also, many earthly cadavers are burned and thus transformed into ashes. In any case, death is certain, and the ultimate fate of the body is never sublime. It's very gross, actually. That is a real purport of Muchkunda's statement here, that the body, though now called king, prince, beauty queen, upper middle class, and so on, and whatever other titles we want to give to this body, it could be prime minister, president, or an entrepreneur, or whatever, CEO, MD, whatever. It will eventually be called either stool, either dogs or jackals will eat it, or the hawks will eat it, eagles, or it will be converted into worms, because when you bury the body in a grave, ultimately worms eat it, or it is converted into ashes. Just like in Hindu tradition, we right away just cremate the body and it's converted into ashes. And ashes of a rich man or a poor man, ashes of a successful person or a beggar, it's all the same. There's no difference. Srila Sridhar Swami quotes the following Vedic statements. After passing through many thousands of species and undergoing great struggle, the conditioned living entities finally obtain the human form. Thus, those human beings who still do not worship Lord Vishnu, who can bring them real happiness, have certainly become enemies of both themselves and humanity. So this is the real purpose of life, and this is what those who have understood are supposed to tell others or convince others or try to tell others. They're just wasting your time, wasting our lives, wasting our energy, our assets. If you're just trying to gather more and more and more. Okay, I guess I can stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments. Hare Krishna. Chaliye, we'll stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai